Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum to everyone. I am Zobia Akram from Divisional Public School and Inter College Sahiwal. I will teach you Biology class 10th, chapter number 12, lecture number 17. Objectives. By the end of this lesson, students will be able to understand reflex action, disorders of eye, myopia, hypermetropia, contribution of Muslim scientists. Dear students, in your previous class you have studied about autonomic nervous system. It is responsible for the activities which are not under a conscious control. The components of autonomic nervous system. Autonomic nervous system consists of motor neurons. They send impulses to cardiac muscle, smooth muscles, and glands. It means it is related to our involuntary actions. So dear students, let's start our first objective, reflex action. First of all, you should know about voluntary actions and involuntary actions. When central nervous system send impulses to muscles and glands, two types of actions are produced, voluntary actions and involuntary actions. Now we will discuss these actions one by one. Voluntary actions. The higher centers of a brain control the conscious action or voluntary actions. So we can say voluntary actions are those actions which are controlled by cerebrum or a forebrain. Examples are speaking, eating, and movement. Involuntary actions. These actions are not controlled by higher centers of brain. So we can say involuntary actions are those actions which occurs without the conscious choice of an organism. Examples are digestion, heartbeat, and circulation. Dear students, sometimes the involuntary response produced by the CNS central nervous system is very quick. Such response is called reflex action. Reflex action. The involuntary actions produced by central nervous system is very quick. Such actions or responses are called reflex action. The most common example of reflex action is the withdrawal of a hand after touching a hot object. Now dear students, we will discuss the example of reflex action by this diagram. See this diagram. So dear students, as you know that there are three types of neurons: sensory neurons, inter-or-reliant neurons, and motor neurons. Sensory neurons. These neurons send information from receptor to a central nervous system. Interneurons. These receive information from sensory neurons and stimulate the motor neurons. And the motor neurons carry information from interneuron to the muscles or effectors. In this example of reflex action, spinal cord acts as a coordinator. Spinal cord acts as a coordinator. Heat stimulates the temperature and pain receptor in the skin. As you can see, receptor of a pain or temperature are present in skin. Heat stimulate temperature and pain receptor in the skin Nerve impulse is generated, which is carried by the sensory neurons to interneurons of a spinal cord. From interneurons, the impulse is passed to the motor neurons, which carry it to the muscles of arm. As a result, the muscles contract to withdraw hand. During it, other interneurons transmit nerve impulses up to the brain so that the person becomes aware of a pain and what happened. Actually, students, the receptors of a pain or a temperature are present on the skin of a hand. As you can see, when a hand touches the hot object, these receptors detect the stimulus and nerve impulse is generated. The sensory neurons carry this nerve impulse from receptor to the central nervous system or a spinal cord. In this way, the central nervous system or a spinal cord coordinate it. After that, the modified form of nerve impulse is sent to effectors by motor neurons. These are motor neurons which carry information from interneurons to effector or a muscles. The muscle show response according to the given information by central nervous system. So in this way, reflex action is completed in a short time. The next one, reflex arc. The pathway followed by the nerve impulses for producing a reflex action is called reflex arc. As we have studied, the components of reflex arc are receptors, sensory neurons, interneurons, motor neurons, and muscles. So dear students, in this way we have completed our first objective, which is reflex action. Now we will discuss disorders of eye. There are two main disorders of eye: myopia and hypermetropia. Actually, students, the working of eye is affected by the changes in the shape of an eyeball. Now we will discuss these diseases or disorders one by one. First of all, we will discuss myopia, short sight. The elongation of an eyeball results in myopia. Symptoms are: patients are not able to see distant objects clearly. Treatment: concave lens is used to rectify it. Dear students, as you can see in this diagram, this is a normal eyeball and this one myopic eyeball, which is elongated than the normal eyeball. So students, in myopic condition, persons are not able to see distant objects clearly. The image of an distant object, is formed in front of an eye, in front of retina. As you can see, the problem can be rectified by using a concave lens. The next one, hypermetropia, long sight. The shortness of eyeball is called hypermetropia. Symptoms: patients are not able to see near objects clearly. Treatment: convex lens is used to rectify this problem. So students, as you can see in this diagram, hypermetropia, in this condition, the eyeball become a short than a normal eyeball. In this condition, persons are not able to see near objects. The image is formed behind the retina. As you can see, here the image is formed behind the retina, and convex lens is used to rectify this problem. This is a convex lens which is used to resolve this problem. So dear students, in this way, we have completed our second objective, disorders of eye. Now we will discuss the contribution of Muslim scientist Ali ibn Isa. He wrote 3 books on ophthalmology. The study of disease and surgery of eyes is called ophthalmology. He described 130 eye diseases. He also prescribed 143 drugs to treat these diseases. So dear students, Ali ibn Isa was a famous Arab scientist. He wrote 3 books on ophthalmology, which is the study of diseases and surgery of eyes. He described 130 eye diseases and also prescribed 143 drugs to treat these diseases. Ibn al-Haytham. He wrote book of optics. He proved modern theory of vision. He described the principle of pinhole camera. So dear students, he was also an Arab scientist. He made significant contributions to the principles of eye and vision. He is regarded as the father of optics. Optics is the study of the behavior of a light. His books of optics correctly explained and proved the modern theory of vision. He discussed the topics of medicine and eye surgery in his book. He made several improvements to eye surgery and accurately described the process of a sight, the structure of eye, image formation in eye, and visual system. He also described the principle of pinhole camera. So dear students, in this way, we have completed our third objective, contribution of a Muslim scientist. Let's take a short review of our today's lesson. Today we have studied about reflex action. The involuntary action produced by a central nervous system is very quick. Such actions are called reflex action. The pathway followed by the nerve impulses for producing a reflex action is called reflex arc. The next one, disorders of eye. We have studied 2 disorders of eye, myopia and hypermetropia. Myopia. In this condition, the elongation of eyeball occurs. Symptoms: patients are not able to see distant objects clearly. Treatment: concave lens is used to rectify it. Hypermetropia, long sight. The shortness of eyeball is called hypermetropia. Symptoms: patients are not able to see near objects clearly. Treatment: convex lens is used to rectify this problem. Contribution of a Muslim scientist. We have studied about the contribution of Ali ibn Isa and Ibn al-Haytham. Ali ibn Isa, he wrote the 3 books on ophthalmology. He described 130 eye diseases. He also prescribed 143 drugs to treat diseases. Ibn al-Haytham, he wrote books of optics. He proved modern theory of vision. He described the principle of pinhole camera. Now students, There are some questions which are related to our today's topic. Question number 1. Define reflex action. So dear students, we have studied what is reflex action. Sometimes the involuntary response produced by a central nervous system is very quick. Such a response is called reflex action. The next question is, what is reflex arc? We have studied that the pathway followed by the nerve impulses for producing a reflex action is called reflex arc. And next question is, differentiate between myopia and hypermetropia. We have studied about myopia and hypermetropia in the given topic. And the last one, give the contribution of Ibn Elisa. We have studied that he was a famous Arab scientist. He wrote 3 books on ophthalmology. He described 130 eye diseases and prescribed 143 drugs to treat these diseases. The next one, extensive question. Define and explain reflex action with diagram. So dear students, I hope today's lesson will help you to understand reflex action, disorders of eye, and contribution of Muslim scientists. Thank you.